We're back on Inside Tennessee. The city of Knoxville has roughly 1,800 employees, and the woman who is in charge of all of them is with us this morning. Knoxville Mayor Indya Kincannon, nice to have you back with us. John.
Mayor, couldn't let the interview go by without a few questions about the stadium project, which obviously is a huge piece of furniture for this city, potentially. We've been hearing that any day now we'll know probably the final estimated cost. Can you tell us for the first time, can we break news by saying, is it $100 million? Is it more? Do you know?
I do not know the guaranteed maximum price, but like you, I anticipate it to be coming out public and be presented to the Sports Authority in the next few weeks. And so we're looking forward to that. This is going to be a game changer for our city. It's not just about bringing baseball back. It's about placemaking in our community in a place that hasn't had any investment in a long, long time. So I'm really excited about it.
So math was never one of my great subjects, but $80 million plus a $20 million loan, which Randy has agreed to take on, Randy Boyd, who's the team owner. If it were to go another 5 or 10, would that bother you? Is that a deal breaker?
We are on the hook for a set amount, and we're not going over it. And so I'm really grateful that Randy Boyd is willing to, cover that gap should it arise.
When we talk about that area, we also talk about the new housing that's going in there. But in the Recode project, which was an effort years ago to reset the codes in Knoxville, which sounds super boring, but actually is super important to ensure that you can have this mixed-use development. Has that paved the way for more affordable housing in this community, and do you expect more will come?
Yeah, absolutely. The nice thing about Recode is it helped channel higher density development along the corridors that already have that infrastructure. So whether it's Magnolia or Broadway or Sutherland or Kingston Pike or Chapman, that's where we already have the roads, we already have the sidewalks, and we think it's very appropriate on the edges of those residential communities to have higher density mixed use. We've started to see more developments along those lines, and the stadium's going to catalyze that more, certainly in the warehouse district and on towards East Knoxville. So Recode set the table. Now we need private investors to take advantage of that. And the city can help. We're working on updating all of our development services to make it streamlined and transparent and predictable, to make it easy to do good development in the city of Knoxville.
Growth really is kind of going gangbusters right now, pretty much in every part of the city. I've lived here most of the last 30 years, and it's been kind of wow, just to go anywhere in the city and see it growing. That's great, but that also brings with it issues like transportation and sort of managing growth. And I'm curious if you have an opinion or a preference. We've been talking about a potential master plan about how to grow in the future. Do you have a preference or direction or an idea of how we should sort of funnel transportation and growth?
I believe that the best kind of growth is growth that's equitable and sustainable. I call it smart growth. And what that means is to encourage and facilitate, incentivize growth where we already have the infrastructure, which is the city of Knoxville. We have a lot of great infrastructure in our city and a lot of empty spaces that are primed to be redeveloped. So that's what I think makes sense. As far as transportation, there's a whole thing called transportation-oriented development. And I'm a big proponent of that, because sometimes people choose to ride the bus because they can't afford a car. But there are many people, and I would say particularly Gen Z and millennials, who don't get their driver's license by choice because it's expensive and they like the freedom of walking, biking, and being able to take transit. So we are in the process right now of reimagining CAT and looking at how we can make it better serve more people with more frequent ride, where the bus comes more frequently, so you don't have to say, well, I have to wait until 20 after the hour. You just go there and the bus will come in the next 15 minutes. So Reimagine CAT, it's getting community input right now. There's a draft plan up on the website.
If I may, here's my vision for my old age, which isn't too far away. I'd love for me to just be able to tootle around town on a greenway. So if I could put in a plug for something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. And one thing about smart growth is it's also good for aging in place, and it's called universal design. So whether you're, 8 years old or 88 years old, you can get around without needing to use a car, and you can do so safely without having to worry about crossing the street and rushing to not get hit by motorized vehicles. So that's what smart growth is, and that's what I see as the future of our city as well.
We talked about the potential stadium in downtown, which is moving ahead. I shouldn't say potential, it's happening.
Yeah.
Another thing that is an asset to this community is what I have here, and that is the Knoxville Urban Wilderness Trail System. This is a new research paper out in January by the University of Tennessee looking at the number of people who use that system. More than 303,000. That compares to Zoo Knoxville in 2021 at 580,000, so it's significant. The diversity question is a concern there because it's mostly white and mostly middle-aged. So what would you say about that and how you encourage more people to take advantage?
Well, I think exposure is a big deal, and so I'm really proud of our programs at IAMS and Knoxville Botanical Gardens, and also our own Parks and Rec department get kids out using our parks and trail systems all the time. And when the kids see it, then they come back and bring their families. So equitable access is important. Our Director of Parks and Rec, Cheryl Ely, is a big proponent of that and active in that. She's very active in our Tennessee River Line program to get people of all backgrounds to get out there paddling on the river. So this is something I think we need to just also help. For mountain biking can be very expensive to buy a bike. So are there some possibilities for bike share and that sort of thing on that? So I haven't read that study in great detail yet, but it also might be influenced by who responds. I see a lot of diversity in who is using the bike trails, but they might not have clicked on the QR code and taken the time to respond as well.
Fair enough. Economically, how big an asset is the urban wilderness to this community?
Well, if you've been spending time in South Knoxville recently, you can see that the urban wilderness is transforming that community. There's more businesses, there's more people fixing up their homes, there's more projects to build new homes, and mixed use along the corridors on Sevier Avenue is booming. We have a lot of excitement in South Knoxville connected to the urban wilderness. The pedestrian bridge is something that the people of the city of Knoxville had a dream about 20 years ago, and now it may actually come to pass. There's more interest in it now. We hear support from state leaders, and UT is very keen to move forward on that. And so are the people of South Knoxville, as long as it conforms with the vision for the South Waterfront. So the urban wilderness has been a huge economic boon.
All right, we're going to take a quick break on Inside Tennessee. Back with more with Indya Kincannon, the mayor of Knoxville, right after this.